What's going on, guys? We're doing another NHL 20 video. This is going to be an alumni team fantasy draft challenge. Basically, we're subbing in a few alumni teams. We have guys like Gretzky and Lemieux in the fantasy draft. As well, we can only draft players 35 years and older. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, the goal is to win the Stanley Cup in the first year. And before we sub in the alumni teams, guys, I actually want to show you all the overalls for the NHL teams, as they've actually overhauled the overall system, and it's a lot more accurate now, and it actually makes a lot more sense based on the player ratings. So, as you can see, all the teams are actually in the 80s, except for, I think, Tampa is 90 overall right on. The lowest rated team there is Ottawa Senators 81 overall. That makes sense. So, again, the team overalls now actually make sense of the player overall, as you won't have like a 95 overall team with only a couple guys in the mid-90s. So Pacific Division there looks like Arizona and Calgary actually tied for the highest rated team. That's kind of surprising. LA there's the worst. Colorado has a very low rating because their goalies are so low. They got Grubauer, and then their backup I think is like in the 60s. And then who's the highest in the Central? Nashville and Chicago, both 88. Surprised Chicago is rated so high, probably because they have two really good goalies in Leonard and Crawford. After that, Detroit second worst in the East. The best team, like we said, is Tampa Bay. Toronto 88 overall. Boston only an 86 though. And then in the Metro Division, kind of surprisingly, the Rangers there, lowest rated team at 83 overall. And then the highest there, three-way tie, the Devils actually 87, along with Pittsburgh and Washington. So now they showed you guys that. We're going to sub out the three lowest rated teams and get started with this franchise. And real quick, guys, I want to thank Audible for sponsoring this video. You can start listening today with a 30-day Audible trial, and your first audiobook plus 2 Audible originals are free. All you have to do is visit audible.com/tactics or text TACTICS to 500-500. I would recommend Offside by Sean Avery for your first free audiobook. After listening to him on Spin Chicklets, as well as watching the video they did with him, I was just so interested in the guy. Like, he seemed like such a crazy character, so I really wanted to see more about him, as well as hear some more about the behind-the-scenes stories from the NHL, especially with his time with the Red Wings, and this book, you know, definitely delivered on that. So I highly recommend checking it out if you're also into behind-the-scenes NHL stories like me. And again, if you visit audible.com/tactics or text TACTICS to 500-500, you can get your first audiobook completely free. So starting out here, guys, we're subbing out the Ottawa Senators for the Eastern All-Star Alumni Team. I think that's what it's called. Basically, the reason I don't want to sub in a bunch of these NHL alumni teams is because there'd be a ton of duplicates, where doing it this way, there won't be any. So all-time East is who we're subbing in right now. Tons of good players on that team, as you guys can see there. Lemieux, just a bunch of crazy players. Patrick Waugh, Plante. Like, I'm really curious to see where they go in the fantasy draft. So on top of that, for the West, who was it? LA, I think, is the lowest rated team. We're not going to include Colorado, as they're only the lowest rated because of their goalies. The rest of their team is actually very solid. So for LA, we're subbing in the all-time West team. Again, right there you can see Gretzky's headlining that team. Tons of great players. And right here at the bottom, you can see Gretzky, Messier, Sakic. And finally, we'll be subbing out the New York Rangers for the Alumni Grit team, I think it's called. These guys aren't quite as highly rated, but does put a bunch more alumni players in this fantasy draft, which, like I said, I think is going to really mix it up. I'm curious to see, like, will McDavid go first overall? Will it be Gretzky? Obviously, we're going to find out here in a couple minutes. After that, guys, we're going to get started. Again, we're not going to mess with the division realignment. All-time West is in the West, 98 overall. All-time East is 99. And even the Grit team there, 89 overall, is still a very, very good team. And actually, guys, I'm going to change one more thing here, and that's turning off the salary cap. I forgot that a bunch of the alumni players have salaries over $10 million, so even though salary cap being on actually doesn't affect the draft, I'm not sure if the computers know that, as they usually take into consideration the salary caps. Guys like Bobby Ryan always get picked a lot later, so if there's a, 75-year-old 88 overall guy, they probably won't take him until later in the draft, whereas we're going to take him a lot earlier, so hopefully this makes it a bit more fair. And so next year, guys, we're going to load into the fantasy draft. Whatever pick we get given first is the one we're going to use. Let's see, where are we picking here? Number 15, so right in the middle, don't mind that at all. Colorado there picks first overall. Maybe that's like retribution for losing the lottery last year with the Ottawa pick. Devils second, so they still have very good lottery odds. Canucks there at the last pick. You guys feel bad for the Canucks fans. So we'll get started with the draft here. Very curious to see, does Gretzky go first? Is it going to be McDavid? I honestly have no idea. And let's see, Marner just got taken. It looks like, yeah, so the younger players are still the ones going in the first round, which kind of makes sense, as, they can grow. Also, too, like we said, a lot of the alumni players have the big salaries, and they're a lot older, too, so probably they're all going to decrease in rating, but, I mean, Gretzky at number 15, thank you very much. Looks like an absolute steal of a fantasy draft. Imagine being in your fantasy pool, McDavid's available midway through the first round. It's an obvious pick, so next pick here, if Lemieux's still there, we're laughing. He is still there. Thank you very much. So these guys, I'm not sure what they're doing. Like Claude Giroux, how do you take him over Lemieux? We'll see if the computers kind of wise up here, start taking other guys. But I think next we're just going to take the best goalie in the game, and that's Patrick Waugh. I'm not sure when he's going to go, but 53 years old, sorry. Not like he's going to get too much worse here. 96 overall, as long as he stays in the 90s. I'm okay with that. Like, Carter Hart just got taken. Devin Dubnyk. So I think we made a good pick there. Messier's still available. I mean, one of the better two-way centers ever. Be our second line behind Lemieux and Gretzky. Not too bad. So 5th round here. I feel like we definitely need some defense next. Doc, like, they're still taking actual NHL players opposed to the alumni. Kind of crazy. So Beliveau, do we take him? Because I kind of want a guy like Paul Coffey. I'm going to take Coffey, I think, next year. Make sure we get our #1 defenseman. Honestly, wouldn't even mind if we can get like Lidstrom, say, in the next round. Our top pair would just be insane. Robinson actually just got taken. So there you go. In the 6th round, they start taking guys. Next year, let's see. Oh, no, Beliveau did get taken. I must have just missed it. I'm not sure. Somewhere in that last round, I just couldn't see his name. So, like I was saying, Nick Lidstrom, that's the guy I wanted. We're going to take him. Sick top pair now. All we got to do next is get a winger to play on that first line with Gretzky and Lemieux. And our starting lineup is absolutely ridiculous. So, Curry's there. Hull's there. Both really good. I'm going to go with Brett Hull just because I'm a Red Wings fan. He's got an insane shot. He's also a bit younger there in case that might, you know, somehow affect the franchise. So, honestly, after this, we could get like all 80s, wouldn't matter. Howard Chuck just got taken. So, Calgary actually knows how to draft here, but most of these other teams, oh no, Matt Sundin there on the Anaheim Ducks. Okay, so Mike McDaniel on Dallas, that's pretty cool. I don't know what some of these teams are doing. Like, why are you waiting so long to take the alumni players? Again, once they're all gone, we'll have to take guys 35 plus, but there's going to be a lot left here, I think. So, Robitaille could keep like the Red Wing theme here. We are the Red Wings, let's do it. Try and get like a sick top 6. I feel like Coffey and Lidstrom are probably going to play, honestly, half the game anyways. Next here, let's see, Anderson. These teams, Brian Leetch there, let's go to the all-time Eastern Conference team, which is the one he was actually on, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so yeah, some of these guys are actually starting to get taken. Who do we want here? I wouldn't mind Al McGinnis just because his slap shot on the point would be pretty ridiculous. Honestly, we probably should take another defenseman too, get that top 4 set, and then just wait till like the very end to get the bottom pair because they're going to play like 10 minutes a night. It doesn't really matter. Mikita gets taken there, so then like Calgary maybe wised up, seeing what we were doing. They're like, okay, there's a ton of great players here. Let's start taking them. There's actually 2 Bobby Clarks. That's my bad. I was trying to get rid of all the duplicates, but he must have been one of the All-Stars as well as one of the Grit teams. I'm thinking, do we go Murphy here? I said I wanted a sick top 4D. We'll go Larry Murphy, another guy played for the Red Wings. So after this, fill out our forward group, all the best players we can. Backup goalie is not going to matter, really. As we have Patrick Waugh on net, he's going to play, like, what, 70-plus games. Jeremy Roenick, I feel 49. He's actually relatively young, considering for the alumni players, so getting him in the 11th round, 89 overall, like, it's just so ridiculous. Look at the other guys getting taken. 81s, low 80s, but decent potentials. So these computers, like, have the alumni players in the draft, it messes with their brain, and they don't know what to do. Like, look at all these awesome players still available. I'm thinking, like, there honestly might be some guys left after our 20th pick. So next here, I'm thinking Gartner's really quick. So we'll go Gartner here with this next one. And I think, what does that give us? 2 full top 6 lines? It does. Or actually, no, Gartner's our 7th forward. So, yeah, our team is pretty nasty. Stastny here for the 3rd line center. I feel why not? And of course, that is Peter Stastny, not Paul Stastny. This team is absolutely unreal. Like, these computer GMs. Anderson. So, Calgary, I think, is going to be the team we see in the Stanley Cup Final. Of course, they're in the Western Conference. Dougie G, Neuendijk. Who do we go with here? I'm thinking Dougie G for 4th line center isn't too bad. Neuendijk, though, is 3 years younger. I'm not sure if it's actually going to matter. Once you hit 50, does it matter if you're 50 or 80 in the sim? Probably not, but just in case. We also get, you know, a GM there, so maybe he can help us out making... Well, we're not making any trades, but whatever. Gilmore's gone now, so Kachuk would be a sick bomb 6 forward, but Goulet, I feel like I gotta go Goulet. He's just the highest rated there, 87 overall. I'm thinking for my 4th line, I really want to get like Keith Kachuk, Gary Roberts, like an actual true grit line from that team. It'd be so sick. So what are we at right now? 7, 8, 9. We actually already have 10 forwards, so can only get a couple more guys for forwards and then 2 defensemen. Danico would just destroy dudes. I feel like, do we try and get these 2 guys next? Because there's a lot of forwards left here. Corey Perry's actually available, which is kind of surprising. $1.5 million is like a really good contract. So if they're really about the salary, it doesn't really make any sense to me. Oh, these guys are all going to start getting taken though in the later rounds. I know it. Anderchuk is sick too. Let's go with the defenseman. We're going to go with, let's go with Ramage, I think. I think he's got a bit more offensive ability than Danico does. Or actually, he's an enforcer, so I think I might be wrong with that one. We'll see what happens here. Still, team just going to young players. So, Danico's still there. Same with Numanen. So because there's two guys, we're going to go with Kachuk, and then we'll go with one of the defensemen, and then we'll hopefully get Gary Roberts. So far, the fact we've been able to draft alumni players in every single round is actually ridiculous. I can't wait to see just how good this team plays. Also, what their overall is. Newman's still there, Danico, Roberts. Okay, so we're going to go Newman because he's actually got a bit more skill than Danico. I didn't even honestly see his name there, so that defensive core is ridiculous. Like I was saying, hopefully we can get Gary Roberts here with our last skater pick. Then we're going to get a backup goalie with the last pick. He's still there. Like, there's actually a bunch more all low 80s. Like, I don't know what these teams are doing. Like, what are you doing? They must... You know what it is? Because of their age, they're all going to retire after this first year. So because we're doing a 1-year sim, it doesn't affect us at all. And like the 35 plus thing, I was thinking they'd all be gone after the first 10 rounds at the most. Of course, that's not the case. This will still be fun anyways. Goalies here, I'm curious if there's any really good older goalies available. McLean, 53 years old, 85 overall. Thank you very much. I'm glad we waited on the backup goalie. So this entire team is an alumni team. I can't believe how long the computers waited to get these guys, but this should be fun. Obviously, I thought it'd be a bit more of a competitive draft here with the computers, but this team should be destined for a Stanley Cup. Like, this Red Wings team is better than that 98 team, which was absolutely stacked, or the 2002 team, which was also stacked. So for the rest of this, we're just going to sim. Obviously, we're just going to go with our top 20 players there, and it doesn't matter, honestly. I feel like we could run no head coach, no GM. Just let these guys go on the ice and play, and we should probably still win the Stanley Cup. Like, honestly, guys, look at that draft. That is insane. And then even after we stopped drafting, he still got some decent players. Slater, Cuckoo, Abramov's decent prospect. Same with Robertson there. I'm curious to see, like, did any teams just not take any of the alumni? Edmonton here, I honestly don't think they did. It was actually, let's go look at Calgary's. The rest will take too long. So they got Robinson, Chelios, Howard-Chuck, Lindsay. They just went all out on it. They got Makita, Hextall. I'm just trying to see if they got anyone else. Looks like that was it, maybe. So, like I said, I think Calgary is definitely going to be our biggest competition. So, looking through here, guys, for some teams that actually took a few alumni players. Anaheim here, they took Park, Houseleaf here, Busick. So, they probably won't be too bad either. And check out the all-time Eastern Conference team. Their draft was actually sick. Top 5 picks there. You got Stamkos, Kessel, Burns, Nugent-Hopkins, Fleury. So, actual NHLers. Then they just went with all the alumni players. You got Solani, Lafleur, Potvin, Leach. Back-to-back Bobby Clark picks. I love that. So, essentially cloned himself, I guess. You got Dougie G as well, Dave Anderchuk, so that team's going to be pretty sick. I'm honestly thinking if we didn't have that restriction of 35 plus and we took younger players in the first 4 or 5 rounds, we could have had an even better team, which is kind of insane to think about. Also, guys, I didn't even realize there was a team right next to us, the Dallas Stars, that took Jean Beliveau. They actually have a really good team, too. You can see Tarasenko, Couturier, Bufflin, Holtby, Giordano, so top 5 picks again, all NHLers. Followed that up with Beliveau, Curry, Medano, Blake, Trottier, Theo Fleury, then Hayden Fleury, which I think is pretty sick. Chara's eventually going to be an alumni player, I'm sure, for the Boston Bruins. So there's a few teams out there that definitely could give us a run for our money, but I still feel like we're the favorite. And no surprise here, guys. Obviously, Team Stats is champion, so I'm going to show you the lines next. I actually did think about firing the coach, hiring a new one, but looking at all the available coaches, the one we have right now is honestly our best option. So as you guys can see here, first line's pretty ridiculous. Gretzky, Messier, and Lemieux. Second line there, you got Brett Hull, Jeremy Roenick, and Luc Robitaille. Goulet, Stastny, Gardner on the third line with Kachuk, Nieuwendyk, and Roberts on the fourth line. And that fourth grind line actually gets a +1 overall with the line chemistry, which is pretty sick. Defense here, Lidstrom and Coffey's the first pair. McInnes and Ramage on the second. They actually get a +1 as well. And then Newman and Murphy on the bottom pair. So a couple +1s, the rest is 0, which isn't too bad. Goalies, of course, Patrick Wall's our starter, McLean backing him up. The team is stacked. I'll show you guys special teams too. I didn't realize, but special teams actually have their own line chemistry as well. So you can see here, both first unit and second unit are +1s. Reason Messier, by the way, is playing center. He's got 95 faceoffs. Lemieux and Gretzky are both at 90. So both units are absolutely insane. 4-man power play there. Very, very solid penalty kill. The actually only spot we're losing some chemistry. For some reason, 3-man penalty kill, we got a -1. I can't seem to get it off -1. I've tried a bunch of different defensemen. Let me actually try Newman in here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't know what it is. For some reason, I just can't get rid of the -1, so might as well just run with our 3 best players there and hope for the best. After that, guys, I'm actually going to show you the captaincy for this team. You can probably guess who it's going to be, but the jersey numbers are actually kind of funny as well. We have Gretzky, but 99's retired, so he's wearing 98 there. Lemieux, though, has a 66. Gretzky, by the way, captain. Lemieux is one of the alternates. And then Lidstrom here, the other alternate, has to wear 55 because we're the Red Wings. And, of course, the Red Wings actually retired number 5 for Nick Lidstrom. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like, we had the guys who the jersey numbers retired after, and he can't wear his actual jersey. Next year, guys, I actually want to show you the ratings for this team. I haven't even looked at them myself yet, so very curious to see how good we are. Nieuwendyk there, 4th line center, 10 points in 6 games. Currently leading our team in points in the preseason. This is actually the final one here. We're currently 5-1. Not too bad. 100, 196. I think that's Guy Lafleur there on the Eastern Conference team. And they're a pretty solid team too. 191, 86. But like I mentioned before, not as good as us. Also, I see Gretzky's got the jersey tuck. That's sick. So we're getting started with the sim here, guys. Should be Stanley Cup bound. And this is pretty cool, guys. As we're simming, it actually comes up. Breaking news. Vegas Golden Knights have fired their head coach, Cameron Byron, which obviously is in place for Gerard Gallant. But kind of cool to see that. I know too when there's a big trade that goes down, it will also get a pop-up, so looking forward to that. So like I was mentioning, guys, right here we got a trade alert. Jake Bean, Sandin, and Nordstrom to the Buffalo Sabres for Travis Hamonic and Josh Levo. Not gonna lie, I feel like Buffalo wins there. Some pretty good prospects for really just some okay NHLers. I know you can have this, so it's only turned on for big trades, turned on for every trade, or just completely turned off, so it's really cool to see. Obviously, too, for every trade offer we're getting, I'm just declining them. We're holding our alumni team here, which right now you can see is pretty insane. 41, 14, and 1. So, like, right there's a... I mean, kind of... What the heck? Nieto and 2/3 for a first and a second. San Jose just fleeced Anaheim. What the hell? So, around the trade deadline, like I was saying, our record's pretty unreal. 46, 16, and 2. So, what is that? 94 points at the deadline. AHL team there, around 500. So, good for them, I guess. And, yeah, it is 94 points. Eastern Conference right behind us, though. Only 6 points back. Gretzky there, 75 points in 64 games, so probably on pace for like one of the worst seasons of his career, but still a very good year, obviously at over a point per game. So we'll continue simming here till the regular season's over, see where he finished. Again, we should be first in the league, and after that, of course, start our Stanley Cup run. So here you go, guys. We're at the end of the season here, the 57, 22, and 3 record. I think that's 117 points. Not too bad. I don't even think that's as good as a season as Tampa Bay had last year, though, but still very, very solid. Eastern Conference closed the gap to 3 points. Panthers there 109, so some really good teams in our division. Gretzky actually slowed down a bit, just over a point per game. One thing I actually was curious about, I wanted to check here, is if any of our guys did drop in rating, because they're all so old. And looking at it here, it looks like they all kept their rating. So I think, honestly, they probably keep their rating for the season, but a ton of them, if not all of them, will just retire at the end of the year. So let's see here. We know Gretzky had 84 points, 82 games. He probably didn't even lead the NHL in scoring, which is kind of crazy. And I think a big reason for that, I noticed our coach had the strategy roll all 4 lines. So let's see here. What was his time on ice? 20 minutes. Then you take a guy like Nieuwendyk on the 4th line. Let me see. Nieuwendyk had 14. So yeah, we played our lines pretty balanced. Lemieux there actually finished a point behind. Same with Messier. Both had 83. Hall there at 80. Robitaille 69. Nice. Coffee 60 for D-Man. So he's still scoring quite a bit. McInnes as well. 19 goals there. Got that booming slap shot. Nick Lidstrom, 45, solid. What's his plus minus? Plus 36. The dude, he's one of the best defensemen of all time. That makes sense. So, overall, really can't complain with how this team did. Patrick Waugh there, 65 games played, .908 and 2.55. So, his stats really weren't that good. He has some very good defensemen in front of him. And McLean there's an 85, and his record's kind of better. It's tough to say because so many less games. But his save percentage under 9 and a goals against of almost 3. Actually kind of surprised to see Waugh's stats there so bad. So next we'll just check the entire NHL. I feel like Gretzky's point total, it's probably not going to be enough. Like someone's going to beat him. And Ovechkin 119. The dude went off. 51 goals. Joe Sakic 111. Playing with Ovi. So that's the combo to have. Brad Marchand, Kucherov, Sagan, McDavid. So that's why I guess we should have taken some of the younger guys. Because the old guys, I don't know. Rantanen, Barkov, Crosby. One of the Bobby Clarks there. Again, they're cloned in this. Like, that's kind of crazy. So Gretzky's all the way down here. Again, maybe it's because these teams had to rely on the first line more, as they didn't have as much depth as us, but still pretty crazy to see all those players doing better than the likes of Gretzky, the likes of Lemieux. I think we did win the President's Trophy, though, and we did. Actually, sorry, that's our division. Let me check here. We still did win the President's Trophy. Our division, actually, is the top 3 teams in the league, so the playoffs are always so tough, and we're going to have to go through one of these teams in the second round. And I'm not looking forward to that at all. Luckily, I think they take each other out in the first round, so we play the winner of that. But there's a good chance we could lose in the second round, which would honestly suck so much. But it wouldn't even surprise me. I'm sure NHL 20, NHL 19 doesn't matter. The playoffs, it's always just so luck-based. Vegas there finished last, which makes sense. We know they fired their head coach, so they were trying to turn things around. Unfortunately for them, it didn't quite work out. So we'll see who we're playing here in the first round of the playoffs. and then get started with that playoff sim. So the first round here, guys, we're up against the Carolina Hurricanes. We better beat this team. They have Fiala, Kuznetsov, and Ehlers as the first line. They're not bad players, but they also have Paul Stastny, which is kind of funny because we have Peter Stastny. And yeah, like they have 370s on their team. I mean, Yossi's a good defenseman, but their top pair is what equals our bottom pair. Carey Price and net. Of course they have to have an awesome goalie. Okay, so the goalie matchup's actually pretty even. I love two. It's two, Montreal legends. But our offense and defense, it's not even close. Like, come on now. We better beat these teams. So, first two games, of course, is at home. Let's see what happens here against the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh my god. Oh my god. 2-1 OT loss, a 3-2 loss. This team cannot lose in the first round. We can't. Oh my god. Okay. Reverse sweep has to happen. I swear, I'm going to be so pissed if this team, this insane team, doesn't even win a playoff game. Here we go. There we go. 4-1. We got a playoff win. Let's go. Back to Detroit now. Come on, game 5. Alright, so EA just trolled us. They gave us a playoff win. And we're out in the first round of the Hurricanes. We didn't even get to play one of those other sick teams in our division. Florida or the Eastern All-Stars there. Like, what happened there? And check this out, guys. The lottery results are in. They've actually added a new feature that shows you where the team was before the lottery. So, Minnesota there jumping from 4th to 1st. Arizona from 8th to 2nd. Boston as well, 7th to 3rd. I feel bad for Vegas. They, of course, dropped from 1st to 4th. So, that is really cool to see. Of course, too, if there's a trade that happens, you'll see, who that team made a trade with to get the pick. So, very, very cool. I guess that means, was it Arizona, I think? Oh, no, Minnesota. I'm already having, like, short-term memory loss. Minnesota there will be at 1st overall. And Alexis Lafreniere. Look at that, guys. Stanley Cup champions, Calgary Flames. That's the team we were supposed to play in the Stanley Cup final. I knew their team was really good. They copied our draft strategy, getting all the alumni players. It's supposed to be us versus them in the final. And we just, I don't know, we pulled the Tampa Bay. Lidstrom there did his part. He's more of a two-way, really good, just positionally sound defenseman. Put up 6 points there in 5 games in the playoffs for us. Unfortunately, it just was not enough. So, we'll look at the playoff tree here, see who Calgary went through. I'm hoping it was at least a team from our division they had to beat. And it was. They actually beat the Eastern Alumni team there in 7 games, too. Like, that was supposed to be us. That team actually beat Carolina in 5. So, again, I don't know what happened to us. Then they beat the Penguins in 7. Calgary, they beat Canucks in 5. Ducks in 5. Sharks in 5. Didn't actually have to play a 6th game until that final. So, pretty cool playoff there. That was supposed to be us in the Stanley Cup final, though I'm actually so just rattled about that. President's Trophy, it's cool we won that, but I still can't believe it. Individual awards here. Our Ross Trophy goes to Ovechkin. He also got the Hart. Coffee there, though, got the James Norris, so that is an award that's kind of cool. Joe Sakic, Lady Bing. Kako there got the Calder, so that he gets it over Hughes in this. We'll see whether or not that happens in real life. Conn Smythe there goes to Dubnyk, so they had a pretty good goalie. Smith there with the Vezina. Gibson, though, got the William Jennings. DeKaiser, Bill Masterton. Banks, I guess I'd say his name, got the Jack Adams. So, Colorado. I wonder how they judge that. Yeah, I really wonder how they judge that, because Colorado was not the best team at all. It was our team. We did not win the Jack Adams. And Colorado had a decent year last year. And like, so if they're looking at previous seasons, like, Colorado did make the playoffs. I'm very curious how the coaching award goes. Barkov, Selke, Ovechkin, Ted Lindsay, and then Sagan there, Reese Richard. So, of course, yeah, the coach is the new awards, Jack Adams, but I don't even know, guys. AHL awards, I'm not going to look at. They're relevant for this. We lost the first round of the playoffs. I can't believe it. But still, it was pretty cool to do the Alumni Fantasy Draft, as well as see all the new features in franchise mode. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave that thumbs up. Also, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.